So this DCOM just premiered.
Yeah.
And Benji texted me like, oh, hey, you should record Big City Greens because we have DirecTV Stream so that we can watch it like without commercials, and it didn't release on Disney Plus until the next day. So we were able to watch it.
We weren't going to be able to watch it right when it started anyways. We had other commitments on the day.
Yeah.
But
So like just record it and then we can watch it whenever we want. And I was like, cool. So I went to go and record it. And naturally, all day they're playing Big City Greens, the TV show.
Makes sense. The movie's about to come.
Right. But right before they aired Big City Greens, they aired Big Hero 6.
So any Big City Greens / Big Hero 6 fans out there, why?
Why would they do that?
Is there a connection between the two other than the word big?
No. Not that I know of. I've seen both movies now. Why? They played Big Hero 6 at like 5 or something and then premiered Big City Greens the movie. It really doesn't make sense. I mean, the movies have big in the name and they go to space.
So yeah, I guess it's the same movie actually. It's the exact same.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of space in Big Hero 6, right? It might just be like a portal to another dimension.
I feel like I don't actually. I haven't seen Big Hero 6 in a while. I remember thinking it was overrated. Hot take? I don't know.
Yeah, I feel like people just kind of forget about it because it wasn't like amazing. It was fun enough.
You know what's not overrated?
Huh.
Probably this movie. I mean, I don't know what people are rating it. It just came out.
Welcome, everybody, to the DCOM Duo podcast.
I'm Benji.
I'm Kelsey.
And we're the DCOM Duo.
Podcast.
Yes, this is our podcast.
Mm-hmm.
And today we got a special one because it's the brand new movie.
Yeah.
The newest DCOM.
Yeah.
One that genuinely, I feel like we can title a DCOM where I was worried about the previous ones calling a DCOM.
Yeah, this definitely, of the new era, this feels the most like a DCOM.
Yeah.
Purely because it's based off a Disney Channel show.
Yes, yeah. It is Big City Greens, the movie, Spacecation.
Yeah, it has 2 colons.
At least I think it does. Maybe it doesn't have the first colon.
Oh, did you actually look it up?
I didn't look it up. Maybe we should fact check that.
It has 1 colon.
1?
Big City Greens, the movie, Spacecation.
Gotcha. There should be 2.
There should be 2. I think that would have been funnier. So ignore that first colon that Benji said.
Yeah. So not much to talk about, like in terms of prior conceptions, anything about the movie. We talked about it briefly in the lead up to this episode. Neither of us had seen the show before.
No, we have never watched Big City Greens, except we watched like half of an episode before the Survivor finale because we had a little bit of time before we wanted to start Survivor. So we watched like maybe 10 minutes of the show.
Yeah. And also, like, I've heard good stuff about the show, but I've also heard very little about the show generically. I just heard it was generically good.
Yeah.
And the movie, honestly, I would probably describe as the same.
It was pretty good. I had a good time.
It didn't feel out of place at all. It didn't feel incompetent in any field. And it was an easygoing good time. That's all you really need from this review, honestly.
Yeah. So we're going to talk about it. We are just talking as people that have seen every single Disney Channel original movie without really knowing much about this show. But other Disney Channel original movies were like that. For example, Jet Jackson the movie. We knew nothing about that show.
About that. We haven't covered that on the podcast yet. Now we've seen that, but
we will.
That's in there. Neither... Did you watch Even Stevens? Because I never watched Even Stevens.
No, I think Even Stevens like right before my time. I barely watched it. So that was another one. I did watch Kim Possible as a kid, but had like probably forgotten a lot about it by the time we rewatched. So the drama. So there's example. Also like Proud Family. I think I watched as a kid, but forgot like everything about it when we watched it again.
There's a lot of DCOMs based on a TV show. I don't know the exact number.
I do. It's in the facts, fun facts. So we will get to it later.
But there's a fair amount of them, and I full-heartedly believe this is at least in the top half of those.
Yeah, I feel like, I mean, we don't watch the show, but I feel like it has the vibe of the show.
It feels like a long episode.
Yeah, and that's exactly what they were going for.
Bad thing.
Yeah, I was reading about like the production and stuff, and they really just wanted to do a story that couldn't be done in a short episode. They just wanted it to be a long episode and like a standalone that they don't have to worry too much about like fitting it in the show. Mm-hmm. It can be its own little story, but still have the same feeling of an episode.
Yeah. So whether that's a positive or a negative will be viewer preference. Mm-hmm. Like to me, I kind of like my movies to feel a bit more grandiose than this felt, but also at the same time, it was a good watch, so it's fine. It just was pretty casual.
It was about as good as I can expect for an animated DCOM, I think, based on a show, which all of the animated ones are based on a show. So
yeah, technically not. Well, the show was. I'm just thinking we're Tangled.
That was a pilot of a show, so
it's like hard because it's not really based on it. If it came out before the TV show, but that's irrelevant to everything that we're talking about here.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway, you want to get into the factos?
Before we do the factos, quick shout out to our fan mail.
We don't have any.
We don't have any fan mail.
Shout out our collab.
Yeah. Well, first off, if you want to email us at thedcomduo@gmail.com, we love to hear from you. We can hear about Big City Greens, the show, Big City Greens, the movie, Spacecation, the movie. We can hear about any other DCOM. We always figure out what DCOM we're watching next at the end of the episode. Yep. So if you have comments about the next one, you can do it then. We'll read it then. Anything, we'd like to hear it. You can email us again at thedcomduo@gmail.com. I think it's linked in the description of everything that we have as well.
Probably, yeah. Yeah. I think so. As if I wouldn't know.
Beyond that, as Kelsey mentioned, we did a collab pretty recently. Yeah. Not on our channel or anything, but Cam Sandwich, who is a YouTuber that we enjoyed the content of, we worked with him to do a DVD board game YouTube video.
Yeah, we talked about Disney, like Disney Seen It and other Disney Channel DVD board games.
Yeah. It's pretty cool. Video's pretty good. You should go watch that if you haven't seen it.
It's pretty fun. It's pretty fun. Cool.
And if you're here from that video, hi. Welcome. Hi. We talk about every Disney Channel original movie. There's 118 of them now. Yeah. So there's a lot. We're about a quarter of the way through.
Yeah, 119 that we're going to talk about because High School Musical 3 isn't in our main list.
But we want to talk about it anyways. Yeah. Eventually, I'm going to make that YouTube video on what counts as a DCOM and what doesn't. That every episode. It is something I am actively working on, just very slowly. Yeah. Also, we have a TikTok, and we've been posting YouTube Shorts. I'm just going to throw that in here because then we get everything out of the way.
Woohoo!
All right.
Now we're going to get into the factos. The DCOM Duo factos.
We're still trying to get the trademark for it.
Big City Greens, the movie Spacecation, was released June 6th, 2024. As the day of recording, that was yesterday.
Yeah. So
of release, it was a few days ago.
We didn't wait for it to go on Disney Plus because we're like, we can watch on Thursday, record on Friday. Mm-hmm. That was our plan for this week.
Yeah. 118th DCOM.
So yeah, there's a lot of them. And believe it or not, the one that came out yesterday is the most recent one.
No way. The movie was directed by Anna O'Brien. She directed multiple episodes of the show.
Cool. Makes sense.
Unsurprising. She's also worked on / written for Harvey Beaks and Amphibia. They're more animated shows. I think with Disney Channel. I'm actually not sure.
I'm pretty sure Amphibia is, but I don't actually know.
She also voiced Cookie in this movie, which I thought was fun. On IMDb, it also lists Dan Povenmire as a director. It didn't on Wikipedia, but it did on IMDb.
I don't know if I would trust. Yeah. But like IMDb is theoretically more trustworthy.
I mean, I would believe that he had a hand in it. He's very in with Disney. For those who don't know, Dan Povenmire is one of the creators of Phineas and Ferb. Yeah. He voices Doofenshmirtz. He writes Phineas and Ferb. He's pretty cool. He also worked on like SpongeBob and stuff.
He's a big name dude and is one of the big kids that Disney still has like teeth into.
Yeah, especially because Phineas and Ferb is coming back.
Yeah.
So pretty cool.
But he may or may not have involvement in this movie. I'll trust your research on that.
I mean, it was IMDb said it and not Wikipedia, so take that what you will. Our cast. Cricket Green is voiced by Chris Houghton.
I believe this is one of the co-creators of the show.
Okay.
Because the show is created by the Houghton brothers.
Oh,
so
okay.
I'm guessing this is one of them.
So he's done voice acting. He's also worked on animation, art, and writing. So that makes sense. He's worked on Big City Greens. His only like big voice acting role is for Big City Greens. Everything else is really small. Mm-hmm. So, if it's his show, makes sense. Yeah. He's also worked on art for Gravity Falls, Harvey Beaks, and a couple other animated shows. Gotcha. The dad, Bill Green, is voiced by Bob Joles. He is the current voice actor for Man Ray on SpongeBob. Gotcha. Not a huge character. Not a huge character, only pops up every now and then, but he wasn't the original voice actor, but he like took over the role. Mm-hmm. So he's done a bunch of other small voice acting things in a lot of video games. And one Disney Channel thing I thought was fun was that he voiced Mr. Tipton in Sweet Life, Zack and Cody. Oh, which is kind of as a voice role. Yeah, no, it's a character who you never see his face. So he did the voice for him, which is fun. It's always interesting when we get the animated episodes because it's a way different, like, what everyone's casting is. If you're in voice acting, you're often in voice acting and that's it. No, most of these people is like voice acting is their main thing. Yeah. Tilly Green is voiced by Marie Harrington. I think I'm saying that right. I don't actually know. She's done a bunch of small voice acting roles, but this is definitely her biggest voice acting role is the show Big City Greens and now the movie. She did voice a supporting character in Miraculous Tales of Ladybug and Cat Noir. Is that the same like I only ever hear it called Miraculous. Is that just the full name of the show? I wouldn't be surprised if it's like a spinoff or something. Okay. I actually don't know. I know there's definitely a fan base for Miraculous. Miraculous is one of those things that I know exists and I know people care about, and I have very little cultural knowledge on. Yeah. She also did 3 episodes of Good Luck Charlie and 4 episodes of How I Met Your Mother. How old is she? Probably. I want to say like 30s, maybe early 40s. She's not a kid, but she's not a kid. But then again, I feel like it's a part of the joke is her voice does not sound like a kid at all. I love her performance. Tilly, I'm just gonna say this now. Tilly is my favorite Green. Oh, I think Tilly's the funniest character. Yeah, she's really just funny. This. The grandma Green. I think her name's Alice. I don't know. They always just call her Grandma. She is voiced by Artemis Pebdani. She is actually young, which is funny because she's voicing a grandma. Mm-hmm. She's also the voice of the grandma in the Croods TV show. Did you just go up to Hollywood and say, "Hey, I sound really good as a grandma"? I think she just discovered a grandma voice because that's definitely not how she started out. I think she started with like a couple shows. She did 3 episodes of How I Met Your Mother. Multiple How I Met Your Mother. Huh. Yeah, she did 18 episodes of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. That's not an insignificant amount, but then again, It's Always Sunny has like a billion episodes. Yeah. And then like she's on 1 to 2 episodes on shows here and there. And then I feel like she discovered her grandma voice and did the Croods and Big City Green. Gotcha. So. The mom of the Green family, Nancy, is voiced by Wendy McLendon Covey. Her biggest role, at least that I recognize her in, is Bridesmaids. Oh. She was one of the bridesmaids. Fair enough. Yeah, she was Rita, for those who watch Bridesmaids. I've seen Bridesmaids. I couldn't tell you which one's which. She was like the cousin that like hates her husband. Gotcha. Yeah, the blonde one. Yeah. She was also in Prom Pact. This is her second DCOM. Wow, so a couple recent DCOMs. Yeah, and I remember in Prom Pact, you like didn't mention her. I'm like, she was in Bridesmaids. Like, come on, she's not an insignificant actor. But she's also not like in Prom Pact that much. No, but she is in it. She also had significant roles in The Goldbergs and Reno 911. Gotcha. And another voice acting thing I thought was significant was she was in Elemental, the Disney Pixar movie, as Gail, who was like the big air lady, like the windy lady. The cloud baby. Remember Elemental? Yeah. Yeah. It looked pretty sometimes. Yeah. That's as much as I really care to talk about it. It's passable. Next we have Colleen Void. She is voiced by Renee Elise Goldsberry. So I believe this is someone who is not normally in the show. Yes, this is a new character for the movie. Colleen Void is. Renee Elise Goldsberry was in the original cast of Hamilton on Broadway.
Yes.
She was Angelica Schuyler.
That's definitely what she's most well known for.
Yes. She was on Broadway before that, but this was definitely her biggest Broadway role. Like, this was her first original cast role. She, did time in Rent. I think she closed Rent, actually.
I think she won a Tony for her role in Hamilton.
That's probably true.
But, I mean, everyone in Hamilton won Tonys.
Yeah. She was also in The Good Wife. She did some other small roles. I think next her biggest significant role is Girls 5 Eva, which is a TV show. So I've heard good things about it. I've heard it's pretty funny. So next we have Gwendolyn Zapp. She is voiced by Sherry Odery. She is a recurring character on Big City Greens, but only in 7 episodes so far.
Okay.
So not common, but she has existed in episodes before.
That makes sense. It's kind of like somebody you expand on to a bigger role.
Yes. So Sherry Odery was on SNL from 1995 to 2000.
6 years. Decent run.
5 years.
95, 96, 97, 98, 99, 2000.
Holy crap.
6 years.
Okay. She was also in Inspector Gadget, apparently.
Cool.
And a Scary Movie.
Well, like everyone's in Scary Movie at some point.
Those were the significant things I decided to write down. Mainly right now. Well, I guess not mainly because she's not a big character in Big City Greens, but that's her most recent thing because it came out yesterday. Next we have Gloria. She is voiced by Anna Akana. Gloria is a recurring character on Big City Greens. She was in the movie Let It Snow, which is like that John Green and Other Authors book that became a Netflix movie.
I do not remember that at all.
I don't remember if she was a big role. I watched that movie like back when it came out a few years ago. But yeah. She's also voice acted on Amphibia, which remember the director worked on that show. Right now, like her main thing, I think, is Big City Greens because she's a recurring character on that.
Like a heavy recurring.
Yeah, apparently she also was like a YouTuber and she made like documentaries on YouTube or something. So. Sure. Yeah,
that's society these days.
She's young, so she's like still doing her career, I guess. Next we have Remy. I believe he is also a recurring character.
Kind of weird if he wasn't, considering how he's used.
He is voiced by Zena Robinson. His most notable works are in My Hero Academia and Pokemon.
Some anime guy.
Yeah, he's done a bunch of anime. He was also voice acted on The Owl House.
Okay.
Which I've heard about from Disney Channel. Also Amphibia again.
Yeah, Owl House is very popular.
Yeah. Another Miraculous Tales of Ladybug and Cat Noir.
Probably the full title of the main show.
Maybe, yeah. And then he did like a bunch of other roles in video games and anime, whatever. Now moving on to our fun facts. So this is the 5th animated DCOM and the 10th DCOM based on a Disney Channel show.
Yeah, those numbers seem roughly right to me. And I feel like this is one of few of those that are good. I feel like those have a worse hit rate than the average DCOM.
I agree. And it's so hard to compare them to the rest of the DCOMs.
Because you're coming in with more established characters.
Well, that and
dynamics and
watching an animated movie and watching a live action movie is so different.
Yeah.
That it's hard comparing them to each other. This was the first animated Disney Channel original movie in 13 years.
So the previous one was Phineas and Ferb?
Yes. This movie has been in the works since 2020. So the show started airing in 2018. So it's been going on for a while, actually. And they announced the movie apparently as like an April Fool's joke from Disney Channel. I know, because I saw like a fact of like this was the only April Fool's joke Disney Channel that like actually came true. Because it was like the pandemic. I don't know. Things were probably weird for a while. But yeah, they've been working on it since 2020. So this movie did premiere on Disney Channel and then went on Disney Plus. I feel like that hasn't always happened with our recent DCOMs.
The last ones that we've covered for this, Prom Pact, Slumber Party, Naughty 9, all did that exact format.
Okay.
Zombies did not. Zombies 3, which was the second to last one before we started this podcast.
Yeah.
But it still came out as a Disney Channel original movie with the Lost Song edition. I'm telling you, I'm working on the script, okay?
We're going to talk about it when we cover Zombies 3, we promise.
Long story short, they often premiere on Disney Channel so they can like get a crowd on Disney Channel, but then they want it on Disney Plus to sell Disney Plus because they would rather you watch it on Disney Plus than on Disney Channel.
Mm-hmm. And like sometimes they have changes, specifically Prom Pack.
Prom Pack changed a lot
because it was a little more like adult themed. Like they had some more risque language in Prom Pack.
Yeah, it's weird.
So they had to change it for their Disney Channel premiere, which is funny. Next, the production team visited NASA Jet Propulsion Laboratory for research during development, which I thought was interesting. They probably didn't need to do that. I
don't think anyone would have cared if they used cartoon physics to go to space.
But whatever. Finally, we have some cameos in this movie. So the news lady is voiced by Raven-Symoné.
Oh, yeah, that's a familiar name.
And I think she's also like done the same role in the show. So this is Raven-Symoné's 6th Disney Channel original movie, making her the first person of all time to do that.
Okay, wait, let me try and think this through. So we got Cheetah Girls 1,
yep.
Cheetah Girls 2,
yep.
Xenon 1,
yep.
Xenon 3,
yes.
This one,
yep. I had a hard time with the last one too.
Is she a voice in one?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Is she a voice in Proud Family?
No.
What is it?
Kim Possible.
Gotcha.
She was the friend in Kim Possible.
Okay.
Monique, I think.
Does this mean she's the new queen of the DCOM?
I guess technically, if you count animated, then...
Which, why wouldn't you count animated?
Yeah. I mean, the fact... This was on, like, IMDb or whatever, that she's the only person to do 6 Disney Channel original movies. So.
What's weird about that is there's never been That's So Raven DCOM.
I know. What's up with that?
Or now a Raven's House.
Yeah.
Which I feel like that's the exact type of show that would fit really well with a DCOM.
Yeah, they did like Wizards and like Lizzie McGuire and Hannah Montana got theatrical movies.
So that's kind of surprising. I feel like it was the exact level of popularity and show format that it would have worked well. But beyond that, I probably would still call Brenda Song the queen because she has 5 unique DCOMs, whereas there are multiple series that Raven-Symoné's in. Mm-hmm. And then this one's much more of a cameo where Brenda Song plays an actual role.
Yeah, that's true. And like Brenda Song, only one of those roles was a gimme, and no, it's because she was in Sweet Life.
Yeah.
Whereas Raven was like, well, I guess none of them were based on... no, 2 of them were based on a show. 2 of them were gimmies because Kim Possible and Big City Greens.
Yeah.
Those were gimmies. And then the sequel... Cheetah Girls 2, that's a gimme because she was in the first one.
But she isn't normally in Big City Greens, is she?
I think she has done that role, but it's a very small role. Like, it's just the news lady.
They probably just film it in between episodes of Raven's House.
Yeah. Next cameo, Jack McBrayer voiced the farm bots.
Yeah, he's a dude.
Yeah, he's in 30 Rock.
Yeah, he's like one of the main cast.
Yeah. He's also Fix-It-Felix and Wreck-It Ralph. And he is in Phineas and Ferb as Irving.
Gotcha.
So
there's your Disney connection.
And our last cameo, astronaut Scott Kelly did a cameo as himself.
Yeah.
So
I feel like he shows up in a lot of things.
Yeah.
Which is kind of interesting. He's like the current public, I'm an astronaut person,
I'm an astronaut.
Which is funny to me. I remember they did a study with him and his identical twin brother, where his twin brother stayed on Earth and he went to space for a year. And they did like a whole test on that. And tragically, his wife got murdered while he was in space.
No, she was murdered?
Murdered.
Not even just died.
I'm pretty sure it was a murder.
Did they know who she was?
I don't think so.
Oh, okay, it was just random murder.
I'm pretty sure.
That's so sad.
I might be mixing up details on there, but it makes for a better story to not look it up. And also it's sad.
Yeah.
But I feel like I remember hearing about that.
Finally, we have our Disney Plus subscription, which is the saddest Disney Plus subscription ever because it's only 1 sentence.
Wow. Disney Plus, what are you doing?
Is it just because it's brand new? So they haven't like really cooked one up yet?
The intern hasn't gotten their pretty little hands on it.
Because I swear it's the same sentence that showed on like the info on DirecTV stream. Here it is. Thrill seeker Cricket Green tricks his country family into taking a round trip in space, which ends up endangering all of Big City.
Yeah, it really sounds like you're going to do more. And they still managed to like spoil the third act twist.
Yeah, which maybe it's not a twist that
it's not really a twist. Like you kind of get the feeling it could lead there.
I guess they wanted to raise the stakes and endanger Big City, but
yeah,
I didn't exactly see it coming, so whatever, Disney Plus.
Whatever you say, DP. All right. Shall we jump into the movie?
We should tangle before, ever, after.
Yes. How would we do that, per se?
We'll go back in time.
All right. So we'll start at the beginning of the movie, before we had even watched it. We get a bunch of images of space. Not like real life space. It's animated. This is an animated movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. They don't break the fourth wall like that.
Mm-hmm.
So they do that in other animated films, not this one. The narrator's like talking about, space, the final frontier. It's so cool, blah, blah. And they zoom out. It's just a billboard.
Yeah.
Gags. They do a lot of stuff like that. I don't write all of it down.
Like, since it's an animated movie, it's so quippy.
Yeah.
Like, it's quick. It's way quicker than any live action show because that's just style of animation.
Yep. And they're just like, well, this is all the story we're going to see today. It starts in the big city, and we have the Greens. They're all the country folks. Mm-hmm. And that's like the show.
That's the premise of the show, is that they're like farmers that move to the city.
Yeah. Don't know why.
Well, we didn't watch the show. So.
Yeah. We're sorry if you came for Big City Greens lore. We did not do our research for that.
Yeah.
You're welcome to inform us. We would be happy to hear about it. So the narrator goes, here we have Cricket. He's the thrill-seeking son.
They said that in the description, too.
Yeah, they really want you to know he's a thrill-seeker. He likes
thrills, yeah.
Yeah. Then we have Bill Green. He's a loving but overwhelmed father. Mm-hmm. And he's an overwhelmed farmer, too. They do farming. Then we have Tilly Green. She's unique and whimsical.
Yeah.
Can you do your best Tilly Green voice?
She kind of talks like this.
Yeah. It does not sound like presumably 8-year-old?
No, you can tell that she's not a kid.
Yeah, but that's like the joke part of it. But presumably in the show, she's like
I love 8. How she talks, though. She's just a little country girl.
Yeah. And then we have Grandma. She's the grandma.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Grandma's crazy.
And the narrator says the family has no idea that today they're going to go on a crazy adventure. And then the family spots the narrator. He's just a guy.
He's just a guy
standing
like,
in the next lot over. He's like, hey, this guy's talking about our life again. And they start throwing tomatoes at him.
Yeah. It's pretty funny.
Yeah. So the Greens talk about, oh, yay, this is our final veggie sale of the season. So everyone knows what that means, right? We're going on a vacation.
Yeah.
Woo! So we get a song. This is a musical.
It's a musical.
I don't think we mentioned that.
Yeah. No, this is a musical.
Which I don't think the show is.
I don't think the show usually has music.
But a lot of movies.
We don't actually know.
Yep.
It's not like Phineas and Ferb, which has a song like every episode. I don't think it's like that. We could be wrong, but yeah.
The 10 minutes we watched did not have a song.
Yeah. So I think it's safe to assume it's not usually musical, and they made this movie musical.
Mm-hmm. So it's a song about how everyone's so excited to go on vacation.
Yeah, we're going on vacation. I don't remember how any of the songs go.
It's kind of an exposition song. Mm-hmm. They've been farming for a year straight, and now they're so excited to get to do this.
Yeah. Cricket
made this big pamphlet, a whole brochure of vacation ideas. He's like, as long as my dad picks any one of these, we're going to do it. The dad picked what the vacation is going to be and has told no one. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Tilly's taking notes in her journal, and she's really excited to go journaling. Yeah, Tilly, this whole movie is obsessed with like journaling memories, which I don't think she's like that in the show. But this is her thing, at least for now, is like, I want to write my journal. Grandma's packing a bunch of weapons. Yeah, her suitcase is full of weapons, like medieval weapons, not just like guns. Mm-hmm. What the heck, Grandma? Nancy, that's the mom, drives up in her motorcycle.
Yeah, she's like a cool biker chick.
Yeah, she's like, okay, I'm gonna be watching the livestock
in your house, and
yeah,
all the
I'm house sitting, and they're divorced. They reveal that. Yeah, we didn't know.
She's like, this is why we're divorced, because she like didn't rhyme livestock or something. Because he's like, that doesn't rhyme. She's like, you try to find something that rhymes with livestock, because it's in the middle of the song.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, they're divorced, which is, yeah, we did not know that. We're like, what? Oh, they're divorced? Sure. Okay, I guess. In the 10 minutes of an episode we watched, I guess we didn't see them together. But I thought they just had different plots for that episode. But okay, yeah, they're divorced. Cool.
Mm-hmm. So they're going out to drive for the vacation, and Dad's not telling everyone. And then they all like beg and plead, and he reveals we're going to go on the same exact vacation we did last year.
The same exact road trip we did last year?
The same exact road trip they did last year.
That's so lame.
Yeah, everyone's mad about that.
Mm-hmm.
But Cricket especially is pissed.
Yeah.
He is very mad.
Yeah, Tilly kind of just accepts it. She's like, all right, well, it was fun last year. Like,
yeah. They Tilly and Grandma like get themselves there. Cricket does not. He had none of his ideas taken from his pamphlet. He's upset. And Dad's like, well, the fun meter's going to be off the charts. They like to do this thing with their arms where they lift one of them up at an angle. Kelsey's doing it physically, so you can just watch her do it right now.
Yeah, watch me do it right now. Imagine you're doing like a clock or a meter with your arms, where you make them like perpendicular to each other.
Yeah. And he's like, what's more fun than predictability? And Cricket's pouting until he takes a photo of it.
He says literally everything is more fun than predictability.
So they got to go make their last delivery, though, before they go on vacation.
Yeah.
So the delivery's to the Big Tech Corporation. It's their best customer.
Their best customer.
Yeah.
Big Tech.
So they sneak into the Big Tech conference that's going on right there, where the Big Tech CEO, I believe her name, you said it before, Gwendolyn Zapp.
Gwendolyn, that sounds right. Yep, Gwendolyn Zapp.
Yeah. She is a major character this whole movie.
Yeah.
She gets laser beamed into location.
She's just zapping all over the place. But I guess that's her name, so.
And she's like, space. Space is really cool. Does anyone here know what space is? Real life astronaut Scott Kelly raises his hand and says, I don't know what space is. And I'm an astronaut. I'm real life astronaut Scott Kelly.
Yeah, that was a real cameo, guys.
Yep. Cool. That's all he needed to do. It's not like he was even physically there.
Yeah.
He could have sent that on an iPhone voice message.
Yeah.
And Zapp's like, well, my whole plan is to go farm on an asteroid and make some crops. And also, here's a space hotel that I opened. Life's pretty cool.
Yeah. So her motivation in this movie is like the space crops. And there's just also a space hotel.
Well, she wants to make money, and the cost to go, which Cricket gets really excited when he hears about the space hotel. Space
hotel's pretty cool.
But it costs $10 million a night.
Yikes.
Only slightly better than the Star Wars hotel.
The Star Wars hotel, which costs like $7,000.
Yep.
Fun.
Yeah. So Cricket's just sad because he's like, obviously we don't have the money to do that. But Remy, presumably his good friend, shows up with a suitcase full of money.
Yeah, and they're going to the space hotel. So is it established in the show that his family is rich?
Probably.
I don't know.
Yeah. And he's going to the hotel, and he's really excited to go to the conga line.
He's like, yeah, I'm going to be in a conga line.
Yeah, let's go do some conga. Can't do that anywhere but space. No chance. So Cricket tries to sneak into his suitcase, but his dad catches him. He's like, we're going to miss the road trip if you leave.
Yeah, come on, Cricket.
So when the tech conference ends, the CEO, Gwendolyn Zapp, gets told by one of her lead scientists that, hey, the farm bots that we had, the robots who do farming, they're malfunctioning. We're not going to be able to make the crops. And she's like, I need a savior. Who in the world knows enough about farming to get this done for me? And then the Green family shows up in the spotlight.
Yeah, and they like, it looks like he's saluting, but it's actually him like trying to block the light out of his eyes.
Yeah. So, yeah, they show up and Zap's like, hey, you guys should go to space for me and work for me. Just to do it, please.
Please?
And Cricket's like, yeah, we're going to do it. But the dad says, no, too dangerous. We're going to pass. We got a fun road trip to do.
Heck yeah.
And this really makes Cricket sad. He goes seeing like images of all the space people having fun in the space hotel and stuff. And his family all starts leaving to go in the car to get ready to go on their vacation. And he ditches them and goes talks to Zap one-on-one and says, hey, I'm actually the business leader of all of this. I get to choose everything. Yeah. You're gonna send us to space and give us a free stay at the space hotel,
and we'll pluck the crops for you.
We'll do the crops. And Zap's like, cool. By the way, I'm like legally required to tell you it's really dangerous, but like you'll be fine. Yeah. They'll be fine. So Cricket runs back to his family and he jumps on the windshield. Is like, hey.
Yeah, they're about to drive off and he jumps on the windshield.
He says, hey, she felt really bad that we couldn't go to space when I clearly wanted to. And we get to try the really cool space simulator. Yeah. It's going to be like we're in space.
So he's lying.
He is very clearly lying.
I thought he was going to try and pitch the space hotel. But I guess he knows his dad would say no. So he's just like, we're going to go do this simulation, Dad. And the dad's like, okay. And I think he uses the fun meter. He's like, my fun meter's running low, Dad. We gotta go do the space simulator. And the dad's like,
can't let my fun meter hit empty.
You gotta up this fun meter.
The Green family go onto a giant space rocket. They get in space suits, the whole shebang.
Yeah, whoa, this simulation feels really real.
Yeah. And like they're talking about how realistic everything sounds, and the automated voice says, this is not a simulation.
And the dad's like, what?
And Kirk's like, no, they have to say that, otherwise it wouldn't feel real.
Because that's what they would say if it was real.
Yeah. So they get launched up into space, and then in space they unbuckle their seats and they're floating around in space because there's no gravity. Woo. And everyone's like, wow. And the grandma tries to moon the moon.
I think she successfully moons the moon. I think her butt shows.
Yeah, briefly, but not much. We get some animated butt crack.
Yeah, grandma butt crack.
Everyone loves it. And then the artificial gravity activates. They land on the ground, and the dad's like, whoa, was a wild trip. I need to go get some air. So he like tries to go and leave the space station.
Yeah.
Which he thinks is just a simulation still.
Yeah, he opens a door and it's a door to space, so he gets sucked out.
He gets fastly sucked out.
Why was it that easy to open the door?
I don't know. And then, yeah, the dad gets sucked through and they all are panicking because their dad's gone. Tilly's journal also gets sucked into space.
No, not her journal.
She was so excited to fill out her journal. But then someone shows up in a sick-ass spacesuit and goes out into space, bungees and saves the dad, brings him back to life. And she is the lead Zaptronaut, Colleen Void, Commander Colleen Void.
Yeah, Colleen.
She's the leader of the mission, and everyone's like, wait, I thought this wasn't real space, though. And Kirk's like, yeah, I can't keep this up anymore. This is real space. And the dad is not happy about it.
Yikes.
Yeah. He starts panicking a bit. And then they go to like the head room of the ship. I don't know what this ship's diagrams look like. They walk to different rooms all the time.
Yeah, they do. It's a really big ship, apparently.
Yeah, there's no consistency to it, but I don't really care. It's just a bunch of different set pieces, which doesn't matter on an animated show. So in like the command room, they go and talk to the CEO, Zap, again. And she's like, hey, if you want to go home, because the dad wants to go home, you need to pay us the rocket fuel to get you back. And that only costs $2 million.
Yeah, he says, well, let me check my bank account. Yeah, we're a little short of that. So
guess we're going to go farm.
Guess we'll go farm.
Yeah. Cut back to Earth. We're going to go to Earth a few times during this movie. And Nancy's just there being her cool self. Yeah. She's so cool. She's a biker. Yeah. And then we get to meet the coffee worker, Gloria, who, as you said, is a recurring character in the show. We didn't see her in our 10-minute episode.
No. So we didn't know who she was when we were watching.
And she's so excited that Nancy is there.
Yeah. And she's like, oh my gosh, Nancy's so cool.
Nancy Green is the coolest person ever. And she's mad at the other customers for like potentially ruining her time to spend with each other.
Yeah. One thing I was reading about this is like they specifically did want to put characters together that aren't usually together. So they focus primarily on the cricket. What's his name? Bill, the dad.
Yeah.
Their relationship, because it's like less explored in the show, and also specifically they put Nancy and Gloria together because they are like never together in the show.
Gotcha. That makes sense. It does feel like you've never seen these characters together before. Obviously, we have not seen the show, so we can't say that, but yeah, it feels like two characters that don't normally interact.
Yes.
Yeah. So Gloria is very angsty.
Yeah, she's really funny. Gloria is like my second favorite character because I like Tilly the most. But Gloria is really funny at being like an awkward teenager that's constantly freaking out about everything. It's very much like a Candace, but slightly different. But like as an adult, I'm 25 now, so I've been through teenage years. I think I find Candace and this Gloria character like way funnier than I did when I was younger. That they're just like screaming all the time and freaking out about social situations.
You can laugh at it when you're not in it.
Yeah.
So Nancy's talking about, Bill's watching the kids. He's always great with them. He would never do anything unsafe and unpredictable. And then the TV turns on and shows them in space.
Yeah, they're like, this is very unsafe.
Yeah. Zap gets interviewed explaining essentially the situation. Like, oh yeah, we sent some farmers into space to go do our space crops for us. And Cricket's like hitting every button and making a bunch of errors pop up on screen. Nancy's terrified about everything going on. So she says, I'm going to go drive up to Big Tech and ask him about it. And Gloria's like, can I go with? But she fumbles over her words. And Nancy's like, sorry, I ride solo. And Gloria's just upset she missed it. And then one of the other customers in the store just calls Gloria cringe. Just flat out says cringe.
Yeah, she was cringe.
Yep.
Being real.
And also it just feels weird seeing anything use the word cringe in media.
Why?
I don't know. It just feels too modern of a term, even though this came out yesterday. I don't know. It wasn't used incorrectly or anything.
No,
it was used comedically well. Back in space, the dad is mad about, everything that's going on. This is not the road trip he had planned. Tilly's upset because she lost the journal. She really wanted the journal. Grandma's mad because her leg disintegrated.
Oh, yeah. So she has a fake leg.
Yeah.
That she just, unscrews all the time. Apparently it's a thing. And it disintegrated in the pressure of, leaving the atmosphere.
So Cricket does this whole big speech of how, well, everything may be bad, but we need to still have fun and we can do a bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
But Void's like, nah, you gotta follow the rules, though. And she goes into this whole ass rap song about following the rules.
I saw this musical number coming a mile away.
Yeah. And it's just like, here's this giant handbook of Zapstronaut rules. You're gonna follow every single one. Also, Zap's our leader and glorious leader. She is our savior and she can do no wrong.
Yes. This woman was on Broadway. I feel like it wasn't really a singing song as much as follow the rules.
It was a decently fast rap, not much singing to it.
Yeah, wish she wasn't Hamilton.
No handsome boy does he know it. So yeah, that was the whole Zapstronaut rules song. Yeah, I don't remember the beats to any song.
No, they weren't we've only watched it once.
Yeah.
But they weren't songs that get in my head, I guess.
It is interesting. We have a different perspective on all these DCOMs that come out while we've been making the podcast compared to all the other ones. We've seen every other DCOM twice by the first time you hear us talk about it.
That's true because we've already watched every single Disney Channel original movie. We watch it again for the podcast. But for the new ones, some of them we've watched twice. This one we definitely have only watched once. But it was yesterday.
Yeah. So at the end of the song, Dad's like, I still need to go to the bathroom, by the way. I'm still feeling not good. And so Void leaves with the dad to go find him a bathroom. And Cricket's still angry about everyone being annoyed at him for taking them to space because he's like, we're in space. That's really cool.
Yeah, shouldn't you guys be like happy that we're in space?
But Tilly's just like, I just want my journal.
Yeah, she's like, it would be cool if I had my journal.
Graham's just like, I want a leg.
Yeah.
So Cricket starts snooping around and he finds a hall of inventions. He's like, this might work.
This will fix my problem.
Meanwhile, at the same time, Tilly pokes around and finds a cute little goopy alien.
Yeah.
It says failed experiment on it.
It says failed experiment. She opens this briefcase and it's just this little glob of goop. And she's like,
with eyes.
You're beautiful. Like, she's so excited immediately. She's like, you are the most beautiful creature I've ever seen in my life.
She reads through the note on it and says, it's a failed experiment that destroys all glass it touches. I'm going to name you Cookie. And
she tests it. She like gives it a little beaker and it just breaks the glass.
Yep.
Yeah, she names him Cookie.
Yeah.
It's pretty cute.
So Cricket comes back and gives Grandma a robotic leg and Tilly a space journal. Both are cool, but the robotic leg is much cooler. Yeah,
the robotic leg can like shoot lasers and rocket you around, and the journal just like records stuff. And she goes like space log.
Yeah, she starts doing Star Trek basically. Yeah, and they're both like, okay, no, we love it here. Let's keep in space.
Yeah, space is
completely
cool
turn around, so they're in for it.
I mean, they probably would have been cool if they didn't lose their journal and leg, but now they have cooler journals and legs.
So now Cricket just is trying to figure out how to get his dad happy with everything, because he's the one they still got to convince.
Yeah,
and has a bunch of inventions for that. Void finds him, takes all of the inventions from him, throws it out of the ship and like, straight into the sun.
She does. She catapults into the sun. Those belong to her boss.
Yep.
And she's like, no. Throws them all away.
Yeah. She says, I'm always going to be watching you, so don't even try anything. And then she leaves.
And she's like, I know I'm leaving right now, even though I just said I was going to watch you, but like, I'm watching you.
Yeah. So Cricket wonders what he's going to do. Suddenly his grandma appears behind him and says, we should kill her.
Oh yeah, he's like, what to do? We should kill her. It's so like, funny.
What? No, she said weed killer because the shoe can kill weeds. But she's like, but no, actually, I will help you kill her. I mean, like, I'll take care of her. I want to have fun here. The grandma seems wild.
The grandma's crazy.
Yeah. So they catch this plot where Cricket's going into Void's room and he starts rolling on the floor, saying, Grandma's breaking the rule. She goes, what rule? And he's like, rule 323.
Yeah,
because like, she's gonna kill us all.
Yeah, because at first it was like 320 and she's like, no reaction. 3? Oh no.
Yeah. So they get Void to go look into a cryo chamber. That's like
where you freeze
people and then you can unthaw them. Yeah.
Yeah, and they shove her in and freeze her.
Yeah, Grandma just shoves her right in.
It's terrifying.
And they freeze her alive. And they are all like, she's still alive.
Yeah, what? Don't worry. She's still alive. She's just frozen.
And Tilly spots us and oh my God, my brother's a traitor.
Yeah.
Oh, this mutiny is afoot.
Yeah, she like goes on this huge speech. It's why I love Tilly.
Yeah. And eventually Cricket's like, hey. It's okay. She was ruining the vibe.
She's ruining the vibe. She's still alive. We can just unfreeze her later.
I need to get Dad in on the vacation, make him think that it's fun. And that's never going to happen with her there. And Tilly agrees eventually.
Yeah, I don't know how he convinces her of this.
I don't know. This is a movie not to take too seriously.
Yeah.
He's like, the computers fly everything anyways.
Yeah,
not like
she's
really
like, who's going to fly the ship? Yeah. Autopilot, baby.
Back on Earth, Nancy finally shows up at the big tech corporation. We're not making a joke here, by the way.
It's called Big Tech. Yeah, and the city's called Big City. So yeah.
That's their naming schemes. It makes sense. She's like, hey, why is my family in space? And the CEO, Zap, comes in and like says, oh, I'll explain everything to you. They get scanned in from this like facial recognition software.
Yeah.
And like, all right, I need them to go farm on an asteroid, and they're completely safe. I mean, I'm measuring the vitals of them at all time, and you see the vitals for everyone. They also have fun meters on there.
Have fun meters, which is really funny.
Everyone's fun meter's high, except Void's is turned off.
Yeah, she doesn't have fun ever, so there's that. And Dad's is all the way low.
Yes.
Yeah, he's not having fun right now.
Yeah. Suddenly, danger alarms go off, and the alarm says, everyone is in danger. Right as the CEO's like, they're not in danger. The scientist tells Zap that, the farm robots are like revolting and dangerous, and that's not good.
Yeah, they're like attacking now instead of farming.
Kelsey from the future here. I asked Benji about a spoiler that happens later in the movie, so I cut out the spoiler, but I left what we said after I asked.
Or is that later?
No, that's later.
I'll cut this out.
Oh, are you gonna cut this out too? I don't know why I did that.
Were you possessed?
Okay. I don't. I'm on one right now. I don't know. So Nancy goes to like yell at Big Tech CEO Gwendolyn Zap, and she gets ejected from the room. A robot goes and flies her away.
Yeah.
And then we cut to commercial. Remember, we watched the TV version of this.
It finally cut to commercial.
It's been 30 minutes.
Yeah, a long time without a commercial. It was actually pretty nice.
The remaining commercial breaks were more regular.
Yeah.
But I feel like they skipped the first commercial break. It was like 15 minutes on, 3 minutes off.
Which is nice to do, especially for like a premiere. That, hey, we'll give you 30 minutes of the movie without a commercial.
Well, yeah, like 25 minutes in, we were like, are they just not going to show any commercials?
Yeah, and then right after we said that, they had a commercial. We're like, oh, okay, there are commercials. But yeah, no, it was interesting watching this actually on the Disney Channel instead of on Disney Plus.
Yeah. Every show that we're talking, or every movie that we're talking about on this podcast, with the exception of High School Musical 3, was cut with the explicit intent to have commercial breaks.
Yes.
So we can't really judge some shows, some movies, I keep saying shows, some movies have explicit moments where the movie does not flow, but that's because it was designed to have a commercial break
and it,
in between.
Fades to black for a second because it was supposed to be a commercial.
Yeah. Back in space, the dad is in their lovely truck, which is still here. Their red truck.
Because they drove to the rocket ship.
Apparently.
And then the rocket ship, I mean, not apparently, we saw it happen. They just put their car into the rocket ship. Why not?
Yeah. So Cricket shows up and tries to talk him into having fun, but the dad's like, I'm just so sad about missing out on the road trip. We had such a great time last year.
Yeah.
We made so many great memories, and I just wanted to relive it again.
Yeah, being on the road, you kids messing around in the back. I just want to capture that feeling again.
I get that emotion, but I also don't get this plot where the exact same road trip.
Yeah.
Come on.
Well, that's the point, is that he's playing everything way too safe.
Yeah.
He doesn't take any risk, and Cricket does nothing but take risks.
Yeah, that's what the core drama of this movie is.
Can you imagine going on the same vacation a year later?
It's kind of weird. I mean, people go to Disney every year.
That's true. I feel like that's a little different. It's different than going on the same road trip. Which, honestly, though, if you stop at different stops on the road trip, maybe that is a valid repeat vacation. Okay, if you heard a bunch of noises, that was our pets fighting.
They are actively in a fight right now.
No, it's okay. It's done now. Oh, no, it's not. Bingo. Are road trips even good vacations?
Sometimes.
I don't think I've ever actually been on a real road trip. We've drove down to Chicago and stopped in Wisconsin, but to get to our final destination is only 7 hours. I feel like that's
some people, that's a road trip.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, I also like drove up to Canada. We're Minnesota, by the way. But driving up to Winnipeg was also like 7 hours. I feel like a road trip, you go further for longer. Like you're driving all the time. Whereas we like drove down to Chicago. You can do that in a day if you want. And then just spend time in Chicago. This is a very Minnesotan experience, probably. But whatever.
Yeah, so they had a great time last year, and he just wants to experience that again. Cricket says, let's do some new memories. Yeah. And Cricket leads that into a song. He tells us that, look at space. Look at all these fun things we can do in space.
Look at all these fun things in space. I'm making up the song.
Can't wait for you to kazoo.
Oh, shit. I forgot. Usually for musical episodes, I bring out the kazoo and I do one of the songs. I could not tell you any of the melodies.
That's why I think it would be fun to still do it.
Look at all these fun things in space.
Yeah.
That's basically the gist of the song. I'm with Cricket on like, let's make new memories. I'm not with Cricket on tricking your family into going to space. It's probably where I stand.
I feel like this is a pretty easy moral compass.
Yeah.
Like, I don't feel like this really makes you think who's in the right here.
Although, like, Space Hotel, pretty sick.
They're getting that for free.
They're getting it for free. All they have to do is pull some carrots out of the ground.
Yeah.
It's a pretty sick deal, actually.
So the song is interrupted partway through because they get hit by trash.
Oh, you forgot about the gag earlier. Did you mention it? Where she's like, space isn't just for throwing trash away anymore. And they like launch a bunch of trash into space.
Yeah,
she's like,
the big tech's been taking the world's trash and putting it into space.
Yeah.
That'll have no consequences.
So my question is this actually a bad idea? Or is it like maybe a little bit of a good idea?
No, it's a bad idea.
Okay, I figured it probably was.
There's already a significant trash issue in space.
Really?
Yes.
How did it get there?
From spacecrafts and rockets. Stuff that fall off of it.
Oh, no.
Yeah, no, it's like also, like, human shit is a huge problem, too.
Because of the astronauts?
Yeah. Anything that gets disposed of on space goes out and is out there forever.
Here's my question.
If you're launching a rocket, you hit it, that's a big, like, rock in your rocket.
Here's my question, though. If you get enough projectile on it, can't it just go far enough away from Earth that we don't have to deal with it anymore?
I feel like you gotta know you're speaking like a supervillain.
We just take Bikini Bottom and we push it somewhere else is how I'm sounding right now. I mean, tell me I'm wrong.
I'm gonna tell you you're wrong. The amount of investment
cost.
You're
not a scientist.
Don't dox me.
Saying you're not something is doxing you?
Now, yes.
Everyone thought you were a scientist and now, oh my gosh, you're not. But like, tell me why not? Where's Hank Green to tell me
there is
an answer?
Countless resources on why putting trash into space is a bad idea.
But can't you send it far enough away?
If you did, I think the amount of resources that it would take to do it costs way too much energy.
That's a fair answer. That's the kind of answer I needed.
Okay.
But let's say it's free. Is it a bad idea?
If it's free, then let's just remove the energy in a different free way. If we have free rocket travel, it's not the cost of the fuel, it's the literal amount.
Well, yeah. Let's say there was a super, super energy efficient way of doing it. But it's only useful for this one specific thing.
This is what our daily life is like. Anyways, they got interrupted by trash. The song's over. It's a trastroid field. Yeah.
Yeah, get it? Like asteroid, but trastroid. Yeah.
They climb back onto the ship, and yeah, they see the trash that they sent to space. It's bad.
It's a lot of trash.
It's a lot of trash. It looks really dangerous. Tilly's like, we should probably wake up Void, right? She's the only one who can drive us here.
Yeah.
And Cricket's like, no.
No, because I almost convinced Dad. And
we need to convince him.
If we bring her back, it's going to ruin Dad's vibe. So let's just make Dad drive because he likes road trips.
Yeah, and the dad, he says like, hey dad, this is just like last year. Remember when you were interstate with a bunch of traffic? That was really fun. And he's like, yeah, that was fun. Let me give it a try. And he goes to drive the spaceship. Also, by the way, I didn't mention it. He explained to his dad that the reason Void is gone and can't do this is she's got a case of moon poisoning.
Yeah, moon poisoning.
Pretty good lie, not gonna lie.
Is it?
No.
Okay.
I was lying.
But you specifically told me you weren't going to lie.
That was the lie. It's all a lie. Lies all the way down.
Just like cricket.
Yeah. So he says, like, yep, it's just like last year. And he goes and drives, and he's doing great. He's driving the rocket ship.
Hey, turn on your blinker. They're kind of like pretending like it's a road.
Yeah, and the kids are flying around in the back because none of them have seatbelts.
Yeah, and he's like, don't make me pull this thing around, kids.
Like, stop putting your feet in each other's heads or whatever. Yeah, blah, blah, blah. They almost get smushed by trash, but the dad zooms through. It's a big action sequence. There's a surprising amount of action sequences, which is not bad for the note taker of me because I don't really write much during them. You can use your imagination or watch the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he had a great time. They made it through the trash, and the dad loves it. He likes it now.
He's like, my fun meter is up now.
Woo! So now they approach the space hotel, and they're like, wow, look at all this really cool space stuff. And Remy calls into the ship, and he goes, ring, 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 ring. Hi, guys, it's me, Remy. Remember, I'm at the space hotel.
Yeah, conga line.
Woo!
Woo!
And also, I'm in this space shuttle. And look, we're getting pulled in by a tractor beam. Every word I'm talking about here is purely exposition and foreshadowing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's his whole character, is just to briefly give a couple of plot relevant points for later.
Yeah, about the space hotel.
About the space hotel, about conga lines. Yeah, that comes back.
That comes back, surprisingly.
And the tractor beam, which is not surprising that comes back. They focus too much on the tractor beam.
I honestly didn't even catch this part about the tractor beam. I just, later they use the tractor beam. I'm like, sure, this hotel has a tractor beam.
Yeah.
Okay. It's fine.
So Cricket's like, man, can we go to the hotel after this? And the dad's like, well, my fun meter is all the way off the charts. So
heck yeah.
We're in. We're going vacation. Woohoo! Woo! And the dad starts singing. He basically finishes the song where it got interrupted.
Song about having fun in space.
The music is better than what Kelsey's singing.
How dare you?
Back on Earth, Gloria shows up to the big tech offices outside in the parking lot with coffee. And she's like, oh my God, Nancy, I'm so happy you called me.
Oh my gosh, Nancy, you totally listened to me about, we could be a dream team. She says that, we're a dream team.
We're the dream team.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so super cool. Nancy's like, you're the only person.
You're literally my whole family is in space. You're the only person I can call.
So she uses Gloria's face to sneak in past the security.
It's so funny that the plan... She's like, all right, how are we going to sneak in Dream Team style? And she just crouches behind Gloria as Gloria walks in.
Yeah, and it works.
It freaking works. They scan Gloria's face and they're like, approved. And Gloria's like, oh my gosh, I told you the Dream Team thing would work. And then she falls? How does she fall?
She slips on a little rock.
She slips on a little rock and then the scanner sees Nancy and then kidnaps them.
It sends 2 of the ejection robots after her, but Nancy uses the coffee to kill the robots.
Yeah.
And she says a cool one-liner.
And Gloria's like, oh my gosh, did you just come up with that? How do you just come up with one-liners? You're so cool.
Gloria's just fangirling. So we see the CEO, Gwendolyn Zapp. She's running everything, hitting random buttons for fun because she likes to do that.
She's a little kooky.
The scientist comes up and says, hey, we figured out what's wrong with the bots. Instead of programming them to farm, we made a typo. We accidentally programmed them to harm. Which might be my favorite joke in the whole movie.
I love that gag so much. And F and H are pretty close on the keyboard.
You just got a G between them. It's a pretty bad
no, robots that harm instead of farm.
It's good. So Nancy breaks into the CEO's office. It's like, hey, what's going on with my family? This is bad.
Yeah.
Zap's like, it's fine. You can come watch. They're fine.
Come watch. They're totally fine.
Yeah.
They're going to farm.
So the Greens land on the asteroid, and they're going to go farm.
There's like a big silo of crops on this asteroid.
Yeah. Well, first we get to see the robots who they don't see them right away, and then they see a couple of them, and they're like attacking each other with farming equipment.
Yeah.
And they're like, wow, that one really doesn't know how to use a trowel. We have a lot to teach these guys.
They don't realize that the robots are programmed to harm, because why would they? They're just like, wow, they're really bad at using farming tools.
Yeah. So they see the space silos, which are not what normal silos are used for storage. These are where they're actually getting farmed.
Yeah.
They're just like cylinders of plant life.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
But why does it need to be in space? We'll find out later.
So they go into the farm, and while they're in there, a robot comes out that's like broken down, and the dad goes, hey, buddy, I know it's not break time yet. The whole family loves it, as did we. We laughed out loud. It was a good time.
It was a good time.
The dad is having a wonderful time on this trip. He gets to farm.
Farming.
But inside the silo, where they're farming and they're all doing their normal farming shtick, the robots start attacking them.
No, because they're programmed to harm.
Yeah, they think the families are crops and they want to plant them.
Yeah.
Yeah, and harm them. So the family starts running from the bots. Grandma starts using her robotic leg, and it's like using it to shoot some of these robots and escape.
It has a gun.
Yeah. So Nancy is seeing all this on TV and says, okay, you got to get my family out of there. And Zap's like, oh, okay, I'll go do that. Let me just get the commander first. Oh, Commander Zoid. And she tries to find her, and she can't, because, as you remember, she's frozen. Yeah. Uh-oh. And that goes to commercial break.
Woo! Commercial.
And just like that, we'll run an ad. We don't run ads.
Did you enjoy our non-ad?
Thank you for being an exclusive subscriber who gets the ad-free version. If we do get somehow popular enough to run ads.
We'll have to come back and put one there, yeah.
But then it kind of ruins this whole bit. We put it like right before we said that.
Or right now. This will be really funny later. When we have ads.
You're going to have a fun time editing this. So the family is on the run and they get back on the space rocket and they're like, okay, let's launch this ship and get out of here. We're good. We're done. And they're like, Cricket tries to launch a ship, but it fails. It says, launch sequence initiating, failed.
Failure. And he's like, all right, let me try this. And he just hits a bunch of buttons.
Yeah.
And
it's a bunch of errors.
Yeah.
Suddenly, Void is there. Tilly released her.
Oh my gosh, she's unfrozen now. She's really cold. But yeah, Tilly released her. Tilly's like, I'm sorry, but we need her right now. But she's right.
They do need her. And Dad's like, wait, but I thought you said she had moon poisoning.
Yeah, he lied.
Yeah, he lied. Yeah. The grandma and Tilly come clean to the dad. Like, Cricket was gonna lie some more.
They're like, no, we were part of it too.
Yeah. So Dad gets mad at Cricket, because why wouldn't he? That's pretty reckless. And they start fighting with each other. They're getting angry with each other. But then the robots show up. So they're like, okay, let's go to the main bay, figure everything out. They're going to break in and we're going to not be in a good spot. So in the main bay, we see Cookie and Tilly. Remember Cookie?
Yeah,
that's
Cookie.
The glass alien. Yeah. Cookie's always been just like here.
Yeah, Cookie's pretty cute.
Yeah. And Void's like, all right, everything's going wrong because of this, and this, and it's all because I'm frozen. Like, if you didn't freeze me, we'd have been completely
I
fine.
could have gotten us through the trash asteroid. There's like trash lodged in the rocket somewhere, and she's like, if you didn't freeze me, this wouldn't have happened.
Yeah, probably not. So the CEO rings in and they go, hey, you're going to have to use the escape pod to finish the mission. And everyone's like, oh, cool, we're going to be safe.
An escape pod. Oh, it only fits one person? Well, if we just squeeze in real tight there, we could probably fit.
So Void goes in and loads up all the crops that they put in, that they picked, and launches the escape pod with none of them in it.
Just, not even her, just the crops. Yep. And they're like, what the fuck?
Yeah, the Greens are pissed. Nancy is pissed. Yeah. The CEO is very happy as Void does it because that was the mission.
Yeah, Void's like, that's rule number 1, probably. Is that what she said? You gotta do the mission first over your own safety always.
Yeah. She's fully brainwashed.
Yeah, and she turns to Gwendolyn and she's like, sir, whatever, Gwendolyn, it's been an honor serving you. And Gwendolyn's just like, okay, cool, bye.
Yeah. Nancy's like, hey, you should save my family. And Gwendolyn's like, no.
No, I'm not going to because I want my space crops.
Yes. And this is where Zap, the CEO, goes into a song about how important the mission was.
I like growing crops in space, and I'm evil.
Oh, yeah, she's a tech CEO. What do you expect?
Yeah.
You thought this was our hero?
No, she's definitely not the hero.
Yeah, this is where the whole purpose of the space crops is. So you want to explain it?
Yes, I would love to. So, when Gwendolyn was a little girl, I think kindergarten, was it? By the way, she's been a genius her whole life. She delivered herself. She was cool. The doctor that delivered her. But in like kindergarten, she had a teacher, and Gwendolyn drew pictures of her growing crops in space. And the teacher says, oh, that's a lovely little dream. And she's like, dream? What the? Like, she belittled me. She thought it wasn't possible for me to grow crops in space. Well, now I'm gonna prove her wrong. I can grow crops in space.
Yeah.
And that's literally her whole motivation.
Not money, nothing else.
No, she has a lot of money.
Yeah. It was all to get the space crops.
That was just her biggest motivation here. Is her teacher is like, oh, what a fun little dream.
And she literally brings out the teacher, the kindergarten teacher, who's just an old lady now.
She has her like chained to a chair.
Yeah.
And she's like, this is nice.
So back in space, the bots have started attacking further. Everyone starts looking through the blueprints on, hey, how do we turn off these bots? Well, I guess there would be a way if you go to this power core on the other side of the asteroid, but we can't get there on foot. Like, it's too far, and there's the bots after us. If only there was some other way we could fastly go and kill a bunch of these bots. And then they find their family car, and they put a giant rocket thruster on it. And they go drive away.
Yup.
And we get the bots chasing after them while driving. Well, first we get like a little standoff between them, where the bots just kind of stare at them, and they just stare at the bots.
Yeah.
But then they're like, oh, we should probably attack them. So they attack. So the bots are chasing them. The grandma shoots them with her leg. Cookie also goes and destroys some of them because
she breaks
glass. The bots get the dad who was driving the car.
They like pull him out of the car.
Cricket wants to drive. I don't get why he thinks he can get to drive. Yeah,
he's like, I'll drive, Dad. And Dad's like, no. Reasonably, but then they take the dad out of the car.
So then Cricket drives because no one else can drive.
Yeah, Colleen's like, Cricket, take the wheel. I'm going to go save Dad. And she jumps out of the car.
And saves the dad.
She beats up some robots.
Yeah. So they get to the power core, but they're getting close to it. But it's off of a cliff. They have to go through like a jump. The dad wants to play it safe. Cricket wants to go full force. So they fight over the wheel. And the car crashes. Just lands on his side. But Cricket is able to jump out of the car and run into the station and pull down the kill switch, and all of the bots die.
Hooray! Yay. He did it.
Wonderful. No problems here.
Exactly.
Yeah. But the kill switch also starts killing all the power stations on the asteroid.
Well, because of the crash, there's power surges going through. It's like malfunctioning and it's blowing up all the power stations.
Yep.
So, yeah.
And
no bueno.
Suddenly the CEO calls in and says, hey, if all of those explode, the asteroid is going to go out of orbit and start launching itself at Earth.
At Big City.
At Big City directly.
Yeah.
So that's bad. But luckily, all you have to do to fix it is cut the maroon wire. But don't cut the burgundy wire. That'll stop our communication. And Cricket goes, I got it. And cuts a wire. But it was the burgundy wire.
It was burgundy.
Uh-oh. So now that everyone is searching over wires to try and find the right one to cut, Cricket and Dad, they start yelling at each other.
Yeah.
They get into a fight.
Yeah, because now's the time to get into an argument.
Yes.
Sure, yeah.
Safety versus excitement, blah, blah, blah. Cricket explicitly says, well, if you don't like my ideas, that just means you don't like me. And that's fine, because I don't like you either. And then while this is happening, Tilly finds the wire.
Because it goes right next to Cricket, and then they both reach for it, but boom.
It's too late. The station that they're at explodes.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. This part was like genuinely bone chilling when they like they blow up and they start drifting off into space and they like try to grab each other but can't, and they all just float in different directions out into space.
Yep.
That is terrifying.
They're going to be lost in space, and also the asteroid is going to go hit the city.
Yeah. And it's just like the way it's done is just like quiet, because they're like they lose each other and they get blown off into space. They're all fine. They didn't blow up and like die, but they're blowing away to endlessly float in space, which has gotta be one of the most terrifying things ever.
Yeah, space is freaky. You ever see the movie Gravity?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's basically that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Back on Earth, everyone starts panicking because the news comes on and Raven-Symoné says, hey everyone, we're gonna die.
We're gonna die. There's an asteroid coming right for Big City. They never say that like the Earth is going to be destroyed.
But presumably it would be.
Right?
It's a big asteroid.
Yeah. But no, they're like Big City specifically is going to like be destroyed.
Yep. And all this is happening. There's a cop who in the pandemonium loses his hot dog to the ground, and he's really just upset about that.
He's really upset about the hot dog. He's like, this is the worst day ever.
He says this is way worse than the asteroid.
Like, oh, the asteroid was bad, but now that my hot dog's gone, now this is the worst day of my life.
Back at the CEO's office, she gets her crops delivered. Zap has all of her crops. Hooray! And she goes to brag to her teacher about it. And the teacher's like, I'm so proud of you, honey. Here's a gold star. And puts a gold star on her forehead.
Yeah, she goes, boop.
Yep.
Boop, here's a gold star. So she's actually proud of her for making crops in space. Because honestly, the way she said it's just like, what a nice dream. Like, she never, well, I guess she didn't think it was possible, but she never was unsupportive of her.
Yep. And Gwendolyn's like, wow, after that, I feel unsatisfied. Well, I gotta go to the next person on my list of revenge plots.
Yeah, she has a whole list of people she, like, hates.
And penguins.
Yeah, penguins is on there. Like her aunt. Jeff, he knows what he did. Yeah, it's pretty. We were trying to pause to read some of them, but it goes pretty quick. So
yeah, she's like, "Well, I'm gonna go to Mars now to like hide out from the asteroid. Y'all have fun.
Bye.
Bye. I'll be back when it all blows over." Yeah. So they got trapped. By the way, I don't think I mentioned it. I think it happened during this CEO's song.
Probably. I think it did actually, because while she was singing, I think they were trying to sneak up on her and they got captured instead. Yeah, they're like in some metal trapped against the wall.
Yep.
Yeah.
So Glory panics, so she's like, I'm gonna die. But Nancy's like, it's not over yet. Miss K, the teacher, wiggle your chair and go hit the release button for us.
And Miss K goes, okay. And she starts slowly inching.
And it's very slow.
Which she's like, she's definitely not going to reach there in time. But honestly, at least she's moving.
Yeah.
I expected her to just not do any, like not understand and not do anything. Like at least she is trying.
Mm-hmm.
She is going to get there eventually.
So Nancy's like, well, we got another idea. And she throws her shoe, like kicks it off her foot.
She kicks her boot off, and she misses the first time.
Yep.
But then she kicks the other one, and she misses again.
Yeah. So instead of hitting the release button, which is what she's aiming for, she hits the tighten button.
Tighten.
I think it's tighter. Like, oh.
That was pretty funny. That was a good joke.
Yeah. So then Gloria goes like, well, maybe I can. And she's like, I have shoes too, but loses one of her shoes.
Yeah, she like kicks in excitement, like, I have shoes too. And one of them gets kicked off. She's like, well, I have one shoe.
So she aims her shoe, throws it off her foot, and it hits Miss K.
It hits Miss K in the face, which is also one of my favorite jokes in the movie. It was so funny. It was like, I was not expecting that at all. You expect it to like miss or something, not hit Miss K in the face.
Yeah.
But it knocks Miss K over and into the button.
Yeah. She spins around, hits the button, and they're released. Everyone's released. Hooray!
Hooray!
So Nancy goes, says, wow, Gloria, we really are the dream team.
Oh my god, you said it. You said dream team.
Yeah, and she tries to contact the family, but none of them have signals.
None of them have signals because they're all drifting off into space.
But the robotic leg does.
Why does the robotic leg have?
Because it does everything.
It really does.
Yeah, it's the real hero of the story.
Yeah.
We go to commercial, but when we get back, it's Cricket out in space yearning for his family. He's like, I fucked up.
A grill is a grill. it's the vibes of This Grill's Not a Home from SpongeBob, where they're like singing and the whole family joins in, but particularly it's Cricket and his dad being like, I messed up and I miss you and I wish I could go back and make things right. And there's like
throws away her journal.
Yeah. There's some good animation where like they see each other kind of as like this hologram kind of goes.
It's like an really 80s music video.
It's pretty good.
It's the fun. Emotional core of the movie.
Yes.
Yeah. They have it's a full-on ballad.
Yeah.
And Cricket's like genuinely sad about what he said.
And so is the dad. They're like sad they weren't listening to each other and they wish they could mend their relationship.
Suddenly, the robotic leg comes flying out towards Cricket.
Yeah, it's his mom.
His mom's there.
I wish we could have seen more of the mom's relationship with the kids, but that's just not what the movie was about. It was much more about the dad.
Yep.
And Cricket specifically. I'm sure they show more in the show, but
presumably.
I wish I could have seen the mom be their mom a little bit more, but
Yeah. And Nancy's like, okay, I found you. I need an idea. We need to I'm out of ideas how we're going to save this.
How are we going to save Big City?
Cricket's like, I've got no ideas. None of my ideas are good. They may lead everything to disaster. Dad was right. And Nancy uses the robotic foot to kick him in the butt. It's like, hey, you got to try. We're going to... Literally, the world's going to end.
So no idea is a bad idea because we're all going to die anyway. So.
And they lose signal, but his mom says, I believe in you. So he's like, fine, I'm going to do this. And he uses the leg as a rocket because this leg has infinite power.
This leg is insane.
Yep. And finds the car. And he goes around and drives and gets all his family back together.
Yeah,
pretty easily.
He finds the car immediately. And we didn't really see him finding Tilly and Grandma. I don't know how he just finds them. But then he pulls up to the dad and the dad's like, oh, hey, Cricket.
Cricket's like, hey, Dad.
Hey, Dad. And is it Tilly?
No, it's Void.
Oh, Void's like, shut the fuck up. We have no time for this. We need to stop the asteroid right now.
Yeah. So Void tries to call Zap, but she's like, she'll know what to do.
Gwendolyn always knows what to do. Gwendolyn's amazing.
She calls and it goes to voicemail and says, hi, if you're reaching me about the asteroid disaster, I'm on vacation to Mars. Sorry, good luck. So Void just has an internal crisis.
Yeah, she's like, I lived my whole life for this woman. And it turns out she's a horrible person. And the Greens are like, yeah, no, she's horrible. Yeah we knew that.
So Cricket leads them to the space hotel. He gets an idea. He figures out a concept. So in the hotel, they see Remy. He points them to where the tractor beam is. He's still just conga lining like fun.
He's dancing. The space hotel's the best.
The space hotel's not going to die.
No, they're actually safe. Yeah.
Yeah. Don't know how they'll get back, but they can figure that out.
Well, maybe they can't go back to Earth after an asteroid hits.
But they have asteroid farming, so...
That's true. Well, no, that asteroid.
Yeah, that's the one. We'll see what happens. So they're like, okay, we're gonna use tractor beam on the asteroid. We're gonna do that. So they go and break into the command area of the hotel. They're like, wow, this would be easier if we had a code. And Void's like, that would break the rules to enter in a code without Zap's access.
Yeah.
But I don't live for her anymore.
Yeah.
Puts in the code. Some robots catch them and is like, oh, you're not supposed to be here, and starts firing lasers at them, and they have a little fight.
Oh.
They beat the robots, but unfortunately the lasers of the robots destroyed the aimer of the tractor beam.
No.
So now someone's got to go manually move it. Void wants to go.
Yeah, but she can't fit in the little tunnel.
Yeah, it's a trash chute, and she's too thick.
She's too thick, but guess who can fit?
Cricket.
And
Dad's like, no, this is too scary.
Too dangerous.
And Kirk is like, well, too bad, I'm going. Bye-bye.
Yeah, he does it anyway.
Yeah. So Cricket goes out and gets the beam into position, and he locks the beam on the asteroid. The world is saved!
Yes! Except it's not strong enough.
Yeah, the asteroid is going too fast and is too big, so it can't be stopped. Which is actual physics, but also, like, unexpected for a cartoon.
Yeah, you kind of expect it to just work like that. But it doesn't, because we need a little bit more climax to happen.
Yeah.
So, here we go.
So they... Void's like, oh, we need more power. Everyone, let's go, like, find as many switches we can turn off in the base hotel so we get all the power to that.
And Cricket, you need to go and turn on the, like, reserve power. So he has to flip 3 big switches on the outside, which is kind of scary because he could at any point, like, mess up.
He's
and
not
float
tethered
into space.
either.
Yeah, he's not tethered. So he could mess up and float into space, but he has to go and flip the switches.
Yeah. So everyone but the dad goes for that. The dad finally has his heart-to-heart with Cricket while they're all dying. Cricket's moving the switches, and Cricket's like, I'm sorry for all the trouble I caused. And Dad's like, well, I like how exciting you are.
Yeah.
And his dad encourages him, and that gets him to flip the switch. So he got one switch early. The second switch was hard, but he was able to get it up. So only one more to go. But suddenly, the trasheroid field gets sucked in.
No.
So Cricket is getting hit by trash, and he, like, loses his balance, and now he's just hanging on the edge of the beam machine.
Yep.
Trying to survive, and he might get lost and die. And Dad's like, oh my god, what are we gonna do? I have a crazy idea.
He's like, I know things are gonna be okay because I have a crazy idea. And he turns everybody's little helmets on so they can breathe out in space. And he throws Cookie at the glass because Cookie breaks glass.
Yep.
And then it breaks glass and they all get sucked out into space, except he tethered Tilly and Grandma. And I don't think he tethered himself. I think he just launched himself.
He did not tether himself.
Yeah, he just launches himself out to Cricket to save him.
Yep. And he goes to where Cricket is and puts, like, a sign on his back to block a bunch of trash.
Yeah.
From hitting,
like,
Cricket, which allows Cricket to pull himself back up and start working on the lever. And the dad makes a little "my fun meter's all the way up" sign to give him the strength.
Because it also looks like the lever.
Yeah.
That they have to do.
So the strength to push it up, and they get all the power.
Yay!
The asteroid got all the way to touch the famous tree in the big city.
Is it famous?
I don't know. Probably not.
It touches a tree. It's, like, so close. There are people right below it. And I was like, are people really going to be out in the square right where the asteroid hits and not, like, in their house?
Maybe. I don't know. The house won't save you in that case.
I know, but I still don't think I'd want to be outside where it hits.
Get it over with.
Maybe just, like, I want to at least see the asteroid that's killing me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So the asteroid,
it gets beamed away.
It gets gone. Big city saved. Everyone's happy.
Yeah, we did it.
Yeah. The family's happy, but they're like, oh wait, the beam's still on.
Yeah, nobody turned off the beam, so it's the asteroid is hurling towards the space hotel.
Straight at them. But they're like, okay, now we can just turn it off. And they turn it off, but the inertia keeps it going straight at them.
Oh, right, inertia.
Yeah.
Which is funny. Like, you can't just turn it off. I thought they should turn the beam so that it kind of swings away. But
that would have been smarter, but whatever.
They don't do that. And now there's a big asteroid coming towards the space hotel. So like, oh my gosh, well, we need to evacuate everybody.
Yeah, obviously we need to get everyone on the hotel off, but how can we do it in such a calm manner that not everyone's going to panic, run into different areas, and mess up the whole thing? We need everyone in a neat, orderly, single file line in a way that's comfortable and everyone will understand.
Conga time!
Yeah.
We're in a conga line.
Yeah, Remy congas everyone into their escape pods.
Yep.
They have one pod for Void as well. She's like...
Yeah, and they're like, Void, clean Void, thank you for everything. You were amazing.
Tilly gives Cookie.
Yeah, she's like, Cookie is like the best creature ever, and she belongs with you on your adventures.
She belongs in space.
She belongs in space with you. Which is just the movie being like, we can't have her on the show.
Yeah.
So she gives over Cookie, and Void's like, thank you.
And so Void flies away. The Green family go to their car, which is still there.
Yeah, instead of taking an escape pod, they just get in the car. Okay, which it still has the rocket on it. Yep. So it's able to like fly through space.
So they get out as the rock hits the hotel. The hotel explodes, and the CEO's rocket ship, Zap's rocket ship, goes right by, and she sees her hotel explode.
Yeah, and she's like, dang it.
Yeah. And then Nancy's like, well, my work's done. I'm going to go home. Drives out home.
Yeah. Bye, Gloria.
Yep. So they drive home in their space car. And they're like, well, we have to find the ship that Nancy's sending. So we have a little bit more time. Cricket.
So Nancy is apparently just sending a ship to go get them. And in the meantime, we have some downtime in space.
So Cricket, what do you want to do? And Cricket's like, wait, really? I get to choose, Dad? Oh my God. And then they reprise the opening song.
We're going on vacation. And
it's a Green family vacation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they like go to the moon or something. I don't know.
Yeah. And that gets us into the credits.
They like have a good time in space. And that's the end of the movie. But we get a little like end credit little scenes of kind of like, oh, here's what the characters are doing after the movie still. Yeah,
so we see Zap face her consequences because she comes back to Earth and has a press conference. She's like, it's fine. I gave you a look on your seat. You all have a vegetable.
And then they all start throwing the vegetables. She's like, oh, I shouldn't have given them all vegetables because now they're throwing them at me. Well, bye, guys. I'm leaving again.
Void is teaching a bunch of new astronauts how to be Voidstronauts.
Void. Oh, they're named after her now?
Yeah, because it was named after Zap, because they were Zapstronauts.
They were Zapstronauts and other Voidstronauts.
Yeah.
That's cute. Good for her.
Miss K, the teacher, goes back to her nursing home. I think it was a nursing home.
Probably.
Yeah. And Gloria gets to drive the bike home instead of Nancy, but
she does a bad job.
She does a bad job.
Yeah. Nancy's like, you want to drive my bike? And yeah.
Grandma's back at the doctor getting a new leg because she no longer has the robotic leg.
Yeah, and she's like, it doesn't have lasers? Whatever.
We see Tilly watching her space journal. I forgot to mention it. In space, Cricket brought her back her journal.
Oh, yeah. He brought back her journal because she threw it away, but he got it back to her. So she's watching it going like, memories.
Yeah, so the family's just reliving memories. They're playing around in their front yard like they were in space. And then the narrator comes back in and he's like, well, that was a fun little adventure. Wasn't that great? And the family's like, hey, this weird guy's here again. He's like, well, I gotta go. Don't forget to watch the regular episodes. They're pretty good.
Bye.
Bye. I feel like we're getting called out by that.
Yeah, because we don't watch the normal episodes.
Probably won't.
I have like mild interest in it. Probably not enough to actually watch the show.
Exactly. I got nothing against it. There's just so much out there.
Like, if I watched it, I probably would enjoy it. The movie, pretty good. This is the end of the movie, by the way. We made it.
Yeah.
That's Big City Greens. the movie Spacecation. Pretty fun. As some people who haven't really watched the show, I think they did a pretty good job of, like, you understand who the characters are. I mean, they literally introduce every single character at the beginning of the movie. So, yeah, and it's fun. It's quippy. It's animated. You know, I would say it's kind of like a Phineas and Ferb, but a little less good. Because Phineas and Ferb is elite. Mm-hmm. And Big City Greens is, like, pretty good.
Probably similar for the movies, too.
Yeah, or like the Phineas and Ferb movie, the DCOM one, the Across Second Dimension, is that what it's called?
Yeah.
That one is elite. Love that movie. It was so funny. This one is pretty fun.
Yeah. I think an interesting comparison of this is to The Wizards of Waverly Place, the movie, which we watched just in the last episode.
Yeah.
Because that's also a decent TV show-based movie. And I feel like they're pretty comparable. I think I liked this one better, but I can completely hear the arguments for the opposite direction.
Again, it's hard to compare because it's an animated show versus a live-action show. What is it with these shows being like, the movie's about them on vacation? Because Proud Family does it.
It lets you get into a different setting.
Yeah, and even Stevens does it. It's so easy to be like, we're on vacation, and it has no outstanding plot for the show. Like, it's literally its own little story. It's standalone. I don't know. It's hard to compare this to Wizards. I think they both did a good job. So we don't have this ranked at all because it's brand stinking new.
Yeah. So in our next minisode, you'll see where it ranks among the 50 DCOMs that we'll have at that point.
Yeah. If I were to put this in my big tier list, I think I would put it in B tier.
I was going to say high B is where I'm thinking.
I would say like mid B.
It doesn't have the special sauce.
It doesn't have the special sauce, but it's not good. A bad time.
It's also nothing. It's not like other DCOMs where a lot of the enjoyment's ironic. I feel like I got zero ironic enjoyment out of this.
No, all of the enjoyment is genuine enjoyment, which is good.
There is much worse ways you could spend your time than watching this. This is one I could genuinely recommend to people, but I don't think I will because I think there's just enough other content out there that will get this job done that I may have more passion for.
Yeah. If it interests you in any way, like, I do think it's worth a watch. Yeah. If you think this kind of like animated show that's a little silly is for you. If you're maybe watched Phineas and Ferb to death and you're looking for something else, maybe give this a try. I think it's pretty good. We only watched it because we watch every single Disney Channel original movie. Like, we would not have watched it otherwise. Mm-hmm. But I didn't have a bad time. I was happy to be introduced to these characters and this show. That seems pretty fun.
Yeah. It's good to be experienced. Like, It's good to be cultured.
Cultured in Disney Channel. Because we are now adults and don't just naturally watch Disney Channel.
Except when it's Bluey.
Well, yeah, okay. That's not made by Disney Channel. I do love Bluey, though. If you take anything from this podcast episode, watch Bluey. It's fantastic.
We barely mentioned it at all.
Just right at the end, y'all should watch Bluey. All right, cool.
All right, that's our episode. Quick reminder, shout out. If you have any thoughts, email us at thedcomduo@gmail.com.
Heck yeah.
We have a TikTok.
Uh-huh.
We have YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts. I mean, if you listen this far, you figured at least one of those out.
Yeah. Thank you guys so much for listening. Hope you enjoyed the new DCOM. Normally, we would be spinning the wheel to decide what our next DCOM would be. However, we already decided.
That's right. I feel like I lied at the beginning of this episode.
What did you say?
Early on in the episode, I said, we don't know what the next one we're going to do. We do.
We do know. It's going to be Radio Rebel.
Radio Rebel.
We visited our old roommate up in Duluth, and she, quote unquote, loves Radio Rebel. So we watched it with her, recorded a podcast episode. It's all set to go. So that is going to be coming out in 2 weeks.
Yeah. I think it's a good one. Hope you guys are excited for that.
Yeah, I hope you guys are excited to talk about Radio Rebel. One of the cringiest DCOMs to date, for sure.
Yeah. Thanks for watching.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye. Scenes from our next episode.
I'm Radio Rebel.
I'm Radio Rebel.
Watch me dance by snapping my fingers.
Oh, he can dance. Dancing sandwich.
Oh my god, turkey on rye.
Turkey on rye?
I'm afraid for the world to see the real me.
Whatever, Radio Treble. Radio
Whatever,
Treble.
Radio Dribble. Whatever, Radio Trash.
I just want to wear a crown.
All I want in my life is to wear a crown. It doesn't even have to be given to me. I just want it to be socially acceptable for me
to wear a crown.
Man, what if we redid Shakespeare but made it like lit?
Daddy chased me down the street.
Oh my god, how many hats do these characters wear?